I can't see the board. I need to...
do we need to move it over?
A little bit. I'll do it. Yeah. Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I've been seeing it everywhere.
Now that you said something about it.
Now that you said it, it's like on my suggested.
Well, I genuinely think it's going to become like a giant smash hit.
Yeah.
And it's
here's your phone.
Slowly been arriving.
And it's on Kindle Unlimited.
For free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah. Which if you cancel it often enough, it's free because you get 3 months for free, and then you take a break, and then you get 3 months for free.
Pay for it. I use it enough. I use it every day.
I use it like in spurts. So.
I'm taking a break right now because I haven't had time to read anything.
I know, because Rhythm of War took forever.
But Hannah also has a personal life where she does stuff other than reading.
Oh my God, it's so annoying.
Weird.
There's so much stuff going on all the time.
What would that be like?
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
So
like I just put my suitcase away and I'm serious. Like it's staying under the bed for at least a month. I'm not going anywhere.
Is it annoying that I turned the thing on already?
No.
Okay. I just know that you're the one that has to edit these.
It's okay. I can always just delete the whole beginning. Plus, that'll only show up on. Yeah, that'll only show up on his track.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we won't hear that. Nice. Yeah, but Dungeon Crawler Carl is where it's at for everybody who's ever liked books. It's so good. I used audiobooks with subtitles, and it went very much farther than just saying, look at my book that I listen to simultaneously and watch on my TV. And I was waiting. I was telling Hannah about this. I was like waiting for the guy that comes along and was like, I knew it was going to be a dude that was like, hey, you know.
Yep.
You know that's just a book, right? Yeah, I do know that.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I was
Is
like,
it? My God.
I have been waiting for this comment. It's 100% just a book.
Yeah. I knew you'd be here. And
I
here
knew
you
you would show up. There you are.
All right, Kate, you ready?
No?
We got to say hi on Kate.
I know how it goes, Rachel.
First, you say hi.
Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Rachel.
And I'm Hannah.
And I'm Matt.
This is Feast. Sheath.
And Shatter.
Kaboom.
Is it hot in here or is it just me tuning in to hear these three chatting about fantasy novels of the spicy variety? Not your average book club, if you know what I mean. Are you happy to see us? Or is that a dagger? It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter. It's Feast, Sheath, Shatter.
And actually, this is a very special episode because this is the last time that we will all four be together for an unknown amount of time.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future.
For the foreseeable future, because Matt and Rachel have tried to say they were coming back, but they've also rented where they would live. So they might not be summer Southerners.
We'll see.
Or winter Southerners.
We do still have the camper, so we can always just stay out there.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll come back to visit. And
Yeah.
we'll come visit you.
We probably won't bring the whole recording setup, so.
And we are going to continue doing the podcast, but
Yes.
Hannah and I will be together and we will be on a camera with
Yes.
the Hoovers.
Recording
Oops,
remotely.
do they know your last name?
It doesn't matter. With the beep. I mean, we are on IMDb. We have IMDb credits, so.
Oh, then they know.
Yeah, somebody added us at one point.
Cool.
And so I'm on there as like Rachel, host. And Matt's Matt, host.
Matt host.
And sometimes when we interview a celebrity, I'll add it to their thing, like they appeared on this podcast as themselves. So it shows up down under the little self tab.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun.
Interesting. So we are covering
Rhythm
Of War,
by
Brandon Sanderson.
Sando.
This one felt longer. I know it was physically longer, but it actually felt like emotionally longer than all the other books.
This was the first time reading the books where you're like, you know, I've read a lot of pages and honestly, while a lot of things have happened, not a lot of time has gone by.
Yeah.
And not a lot of things have happened.
We've not gone anywhere. We're like in very much like just a couple places.
Yeah.
We're at the tower.
And this is Navani's book.
Yes.
Navani's got the prologue. I just feel like whoever has the prologue.
She
Well,
doesn't get the
that's not necessarily
flashback,
true.
but
She
she
has,
gets the most page time,
yeah,
screen time.
but prologue is hers.
She goes through the biggest journey for sure.
Sure. And she starts off with, she was fighting with
Gavilar.
Gavilar.
Yeah.
She was fighting with
Because
Gavilar.
he's apparently a douchebag.
Because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's a dickwad.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
I
he's
know.
not a good dude.
You don't talk to Navani like that.
was
You get the
abusive to
fuck
her.
over
Yeah,
here.
he was. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
Because he's like, you just bring everybody else down because you
Like,
want them as low as you are. And I
he
was like,
is
you
the-
piece of trash.
He's the opposite of what any woman wants.
Yeah.
If you were ever a man to listen to this show, that would be probably not a good idea for you.
yeah, do not do
You will
this.
walk
No,
away
that's
with
a
low
negative,
self-esteem.
Captain. Yeah. That's
Low
no.
self-esteem. Just kidding. Except for Matt.
And she
Except for Matt.
she goes like she takes a long time to get over that. She's wrestling with that for a lot of the book.
And he's not wrong in the fact that she probably was always in love with his brother,
Yeah.
and she had to make a choice. And
Well, look at who Dalinar was.
Dalinar scared her.
Yeah,
he
Dalinar
was scary.
That would scare
I
the
would
shit out of
have
me.
done the same thing if
I don't
were
know
her.
that,
That is-
Dalinar.
Not true.
Really?
Yeah, no, you would have totally gone with the bad guy. You would not have gone with safe king, stable man. I don't think so.
Oh my God, that upsets me really bad. Okay, thank you.
Are you upset? Wait, are you upset because I don't think you would?
No, I'm upset because it's true.
I know. Okay. Intuition again.
Well, I don't know that Dalinar would have
It
made
just
a better
depends.
husband.
Maybe not at that point.
no.
Not at that point.
No way.
No.
He needed to go off and have half of his life
He needed Evie.
erased.
He needed Evie.
Yes, everybody needs Evie in their life.
He needed her.
Today, Hannah would.
Today, Hannah would
Early
try.
20s, Hannah would not.
No.
No.
Today, Hannah would try.
Yeah, she would do it. She would do a
Yeah.
great job.
I don't think either brother
Rachel
are much
would.
of a catch.
Rachel would have chosen the safer bet.
The more stable bet.
I don't think I would have. Yeah.
Rachel would not have chosen either one of them.
say, I'm
So
not
let's be real.
I'm not sure.
She'd be off on her own, living her best
You would
life.
I feel like you would
Rachel would have rejected the obligation of choice or the,
have.
Yeah.
the
I reject
compulsion of choice.
Well, I just feel like you would have recognized the power that would come with the crown, and you would have just been like, I'm going to go over here and then go do your own thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like Navani was trying at some point to be a wife, and
Yeah.
they just he became not a good guy.
No.
And so we get this really early version of Void Light. And this introduction to this different light. So I'm going to ask some questions because I need some clarifying. So,
Good.
That was the spear that Zeth got at the very beginning
Yes.
of Way of Kings. And he was
Yes.
like, hide this shit. And then 4 books and 4,500 pages later, they're like, oh yeah, what about that sphere you got from Gavilar?
yeah.
Way back when.
And that's called intentional writing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's foreshadowing.
It is.
Yes.
That's successful foreshadowing.
That's what that is.
Successful foreshadowing.
Correct.
You're like, you forgot, you think I forgot? I did not
Well
forget.
intentioned, like intention.
Yeah.
Already
Yeah.
said intention.
Yeah, intentional.
Yeah. Not too.
We're not going to bad talk certain authors
No,
all night.
we
but
swore
I still am
We
so,
swore
so angry.
I'm so angry.
So angry. Just sticks. Like we were saying right before we started, a lot of us are carrying a lot of rage on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
It's just
Low boil.
how it feels to be an American right now.
Yeah.
Not a simmer.
An American who's paying attention. Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to say something else, but it's fine. I'm just gonna move along. But yeah, a lot of rage. So Navani, I think we're gonna go. Rachel mentioned going through character by character. Since
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
feel
so
like that worked
character-driven.
really well for Oathbound. For
Oathbound,
Oathbringer.
which just came out, by the way. The third book.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you get it?
I haven't yet.
Yeah.
In the Legendborn series.
Yes, the third book came out.
Legendborn, Bloodmark, and Oathbound just came out.
Oh.
So the trilogy is finished.
Oh yeah, I was gonna try to read that again.
Yeah.
Yes. That was,
So we pick up in Roshar 1 year later
yeah.
after the
Is
battle.
it really only one? No, it's several. It's long.
It's
time.
1 year.
1 year after the battle at the end of.
Yeah, after the Battle of Thalen Plain or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whole
After the
year.
You Cannot Have My Pain.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 1 year later.
That's a long time.
Oh yeah.
And Rosharan years are longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 500 days.
Okay,
or
so
however
that's a
long it
year
is.
and a half almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Navani's trying to figure out how to turn the fucking HVAC on.
Yeah.
It's chilly.
Yeah.
Like she knows that this building is made to do more, and
Yeah.
they still haven't really figured out how.
Nope.
And she's a brilliant scientist, fabulist.
Where did we learn
engineer
about the sibling? Where did we learn about the sibling?
in this book?
Because they mention
Yeah.
it like we'd already heard about it. And so I-
Stormfather
Right, I was like, what the
mentioned to Dalinar about, I think he referred to them as cousins, but he referred to the sibling and one other that he didn't want to name. And Dalinar asks for clarification. He's like, no, we're not going to talk about
I mean,
it.
because they bring it up. They're like,
don't
yeah,
talk
and
about
the
Bruno.
sibling that used to run the tower. And I was like, what?
sibling?
Where did we learn that? I ended up looking it up and I still couldn't figure it out.
Well, I don't remember the reference to the sibling until this book. But I
that's
mean, they may have made a small reference. But I've never been tuned in enough to be like, oh my God, that one thing they mentioned in Words
Yeah.
of Radiance. Here it is.
And
you
they
know?
seem very unsurprised that the tower is talking to them. You know, like I'm gonna touch the wall
Yeah.
and hello.
Well, they've all been interacting with fully sentient Spren.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's probably not that
Yeah,
big of a
it's not
surprise
that
that, okay,
big of a
there's
stretch.
another one.
I mean, like tiny little things pop up every time you feel an emotion.
Yeah.
So
doesn't-
a talking building built into a mountain.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's fine.
With all these unknown.
And Alexa.
With all
Alexa,
these.
turn on the light.
Yes.
With these like beautiful lines, like marbled
The
lines
strata.
running through it. It's just, they're probably like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's call the sibling Alexa.
Yeah. So Alexa turns on.
Yeah.
They need to activate their Prime subscription.
Yeah. Basically, that's really what they
Yeah.
have to do. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah,
no-
and the big problem is they can't power a lot of the Fabrials with Stormlight.
right.
The elevators they can, but
And that's
like
what
the
they've been trying to do,
HVAC,
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
they can't run the
and if
HVAC in with Stormlight.
And just so that I'm clear on what happens. Because I read this book several years ago and then did a rewatch and then had to throw my phone because he said that Lift was his least favorite character in the Cosmere and I didn't like him anymore.
Ew.
So I had to stop listening. Stupid, kick my phone. But it's because the sibling, they needed, what's the other thing called?
Lifelight?
Lifelight? Is that why? Because
Yeah.
it runs on Lifelight.
Yeah. Well, it's a combination of Lifelight
It runs
and
on Tower Light.
Yeah, it's
Tower
a combination of
light.
Lifelight and
hybrid
Stormlight.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stormlight.
It runs on its own light.
Yes, because it's
Yep.
the child of two of them. And
It's
so
honor and cultivation's baby.
So it creates its own light. And so
Right.
nothing could power it because it needed tower light. That's why Navani can literally create light because she can create tower light.
So she's a third type of light.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get the void light, and now we have the storm light, and then we have the tower light
Yeah. And life light.
and life
Lifelite is what
cultivation's
light.
which is
Lift
what
uses.
Lift uses. So
Yeah.
there's lights, all of the lights of Rashar.
Yeah.
So every god, every shard has a light,
Yeah.
and then hybrid lights. Hybrid lights make new lights.
Yes.
Hybrid lights.
Yeah. That
Yep.
got a little.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay.
Whew,
There
yeah.
was a lot of sciencing
All right.
going on
Yeah, there was
in
so
Navani's
much.
lab.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so happy for you, Navani. I have no idea what's happening.
She was so happy. She felt so fulfilled
Yeah.
doing all that science-y.
Did y'all hear that sound?
Yeah. I don't know what
that
it
was me.
Oh, I thought it was like a
sounded-
Kind of made it.
I was like, is the thing in
Noise.
here, Rachel?
It's fine.
The
yeah.
thing's in?
It's red. It's recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. We recorded without the thing one
But
time.
it wasn't red. I just didn't notice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the first things that happens in this book, well, it's so long, it's not the first thing, but when they take, they show up to Hearthstone,
Hearthstone. Yeah.
to pick everybody up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it feels kind of steampunky.
Yeah, because the little ship shows up.
Because the ship shows
I was
up.
like, oh.
And then all of a sudden, in a year and a half, Navani has learned how to harness like flying machines.
Yeah.
And it feels like a lot more time than a year and a half has gone by.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they're all of a sudden wearing like goggles and flying through the sky. And stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does get very
And
steep
it's called Bridge 4. And like their bridge is a part of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
is
is cool.
kinda cool.
It's
It's
very
really
lovely.
cool.
Yeah.
Very lovely.
I was like, all right.
And the
that's
Windrunners
good.
have. Now,
like
if
it.
you asked me to explain to you how that motherfucking
Nope.
ship works,
Nope.
I don't care. I was only there for the vibes.
Yeah.
And
I
I found myself
tried
tuning
for
out
a little bit.
I was tuning out a lot.
I know that part was. I was like, oh, okay.
And-
The most interesting part was there were like 10 Windrunners, and they look out and there's this huge battalion of like heavenly ones coming towards them, and they're like, all right, cool, give us an hour, we'll be back. And I was like, are we not threatened? Is this not? I don't feel like there's a threat. This doesn't feel threatening. And then they
Yeah.
literally fly up and they're like, you, and they're like, okay, yeah. And then they only fight 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Honor.
I was like,
Yeah, it's
honor.
yeah. We're gonna
And that's-
stand
Yeah.
back and wait till you finish with your one guy, and then I'll move in. And
Yeah.
then,
And like discovering the dynamic between the fused
yeah,
and the radiance, and then and then unmade and heralds.
yeah,
On a level, on a hierarchical level. Like they're not evil.
right. If there's one thing I don't feel like Brandon has done for me, it's convinced me why we're fighting.
right.
I couldn't literally sit down and tell you who. I know that the Windrunners are defending themselves, and that the fused want the world, and they're like, well, we can't just sit down and talk about it. Like, but can we not though? I don't.
Yeah, I think it's kind of Hatfields and McCoyish. I think it goes back a really long ways.
It is. I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, I'm like,
And I
I
think-
don't really understand.
I think Wind and Truth answers some of that.
Okay.
Don't you
Yes,
think?
Wind and Truth
a lot
answers some
it.
of that, but I think even in Rhythm of War, you could say the fused that are in charge are so. It comes back to like the curse of immortality
Yeah.
that Sanderson communicates pretty well with even just the heralds. Like, you live too long, you go insane.
Right.
But
Well,
now
get
you
too set in
have
your ways.
now you have immortals who are literally being like tortured on a different planet
Yeah.
for
So-
thousands of years, and then they're coming back. They're even more insane. And so they just want to destroy the world, and they're sending out the more sane ones to do it. And so you can't really talk to them like the high level fused because
The Void Sprint are
They're not
coming
rational.
from Braze.
Braze. So if you had to put a totally out there, never happened in the real world thing, there are corrupt leaders who
That's
are
where I was
instigating
Yeah.
violence where not necessarily
and
the
they have
general
sycophantic
population
followers
is
who-
interested.
Right.
Oh, who will follow them blindly without
Yep.
questioning what they want? Okay. I can't think of anything that's like
and you
that.
can't actually have a rational discussion with them
Right, because
Well,
they're
and
kind
al-
of the
because
radicalized,
they're
like a cult.
indoctrinated.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
gotcha.
also if your leaders hate.
yeah.
Yeah, like if your
Oh, I think we know
foundation-
what happens when you have a leader who's literally just hate.
We're finding that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
rage.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're like, I don't know, maybe Greenland.
yeah, it's Greenland's mine now.
Sure. Yeah. They're
Canada,
like the
Canada,
tower. Yeah. I want
mine
the,
now.
Yeah. The tower. I think I want that. That's
That's
mine.
for
I think
me.
I'm going to take that.
Alethkar's going to be the 51st state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alethkar. Roshar's mine now, all of it. Yeah. This is now called, this isn't Irathuru anymore.
Yeah.
This is now called Tower of Odium.
Maybe that's why this one was so hard for me to get through. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is feeling.
It used to
felt
feel like
really-
fantasy, and now it feels
Yeah,
like
because
real
nobody
life.
want like none of these people that are all of the listeners that they talk to are the listeners or the singers.
The singers follow Odium.
Okay.
The listeners are the ones that have rejected Odium.
Well, all the singers they
So,
talk to are kind of like,
Venli
I don't know,
is a
man, I don't
listener?
really want to. I don't really want to do this.
the
Bentley
ones,
was a listener.
She's the last listener.
They were
or she
the ones
thought
on the
she was.
planes were the listeners, but most of them have gotten caught up, and they're
Being-
now singers.
So just
Relaine is like the
to-
last. I guess Venli and Relaine are the last
To ex-
listeners.
kind of review the science, the magic of it all.
Yeah.
The Void Spren have come from Rays,
Yes.
have been brought by the Everstorm,
Everstorm.
the Everstorm, and they are taking. Sorry, my reflex is acting up. And they're taking Parshendi's bodies,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
these ancient, like long-lived beings are coming back, and that's who they're becoming.
Yeah, they fuse.
They fuse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're fused.
Yeah, okay.
And so every time the fuse die, they
Yeah,
just
but
take
when
a new
radiants
body.
bond, they don't become another thing. So is that just the difference in how void light works and stormlight works?
Well, it's because the,
The
fused,
fused
are
are
other
different.
souls. They're not really
Yeah,
void
they're-
spren.
they're
They're
a
like
soul that's
an
been-
ancient singer's soul
yeah.
Like
that's being brought back.
when somebody dies, their soul still has like they call it the cognitive shadow. There's a cognitive shadow in the cognitive realm after they die that lingers, and if they have a lot of investiture, that cognitive shadow will hang around for a while. And so, like, there's the Mistborn
Thadakar?
secret history of
Oh,
Mistborn,
sure.
where spoiler alert, after Kelsier dies, in the first Mistborn book, his ghost hangs around in the cognitive realm.
Contains spoilers for Mistborn.
I think this is at the point in the series where it starts getting relevant what's happening in Mistborn
Yeah.
and Warbreaker. But if there's enough investiture, that shadow will just become a permanent thing and it'll hang out forever. And that's what the fused are, is they are the invested, like,
But they're like
ghost.
7,000 years old.
Yeah.
So they're all, some of them just drool, like just sit and drool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which felt really sad.
That was really sad.
Yeah. And some of them, like Raboniel, are crazy in other ways.
Right.
I loved her.
I did love Raboniel.
So what is the difference in Vinley and Raboniel? Because Vinley is bonded.
Venli is like the last listener, and she has a void spren which gives her one of the like the forms, one of the
She's-
void spren forms.
And she's like a radiant.
Yeah.
So she got a void spren
Okay.
and she became,
An
I think-
envoy.
yeah, they call them the Regals.
They're like diplomats.
Yeah.
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 And so they have
She's
a
tall.
form of power,
Yeah.
but they haven't been like possessed by a fused.
Yeah, because
The
the fused
immortal
is,
soul.
it
So
just
she just
literally
has a
ousts
form
their
of
soul
power,
and
okay.
puts a new soul in
She
there.
has a form of power, which
Yeah.
is one of, it's like storm form, dull form,
yeah.
regal form,
Envoy
And
form.
she's
envoy
envoy form.
Yep.
And
And, so
then-
she can understand any language.
which is badass.
Pretty
Yeah,
I
cool.
would
But then
want that
she
one.
bonds.
She bonds Timber.
Yeah. Who is a void spread?
No.
She's a Stone Warden, I think is like her radiant class.
So
Yeah.
she's a spread.
Yeah.
yeah.
She's
yeah.
a- she's
Timber
a-
is just a regular.
Well,
They
she's a
used to be
Stormlight
Regular
friends.
spren.
Like they used to do that.
Yeah,
That used to be what
okay.
they did. Because
Okay.
remember, is it Leshwi is like, oh, the Spren are talking to us again? I used to have so many friends.
Oh wow.
And maybe they're still alive. Like, can you find
Yeah.
my
Can
friends?
you? Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
find out if there's a Spren named such and such?
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
we used to be friends.
Yeah. But back to when
But Venli's radiant Spren, like, captures or like,
Encapsulates.
encapsulates her void Spren,
oh
so that the void spread isn't like corrupting her anymore and like passing Odium's influence into her mind. So she's still like a sane listener and free of Odium's like mental influence, but she still has access to the Odium Spren form of power abilities.
nice.
And Odium doesn't know that she is
cracked the
No.
code.
Exactly.
That she
Right.
hacked the system.
Yeah.
Right.
She hacked
She's
that.
compromised.
She's
Yeah,
compromised.
she's compromised.
Is that what happens to Relaine?
Relaine
No.
doesn't get a form of power.
No, he just has a regular form. He's just like warrior form or war
He
form.
doesn't have a spren.
He doesn't have a
Well-
void
Listen,
spren.
he is
They
in war
they
form.
bond a Spren.
He doesn't have a
but
void
it's like
spren though.
I think war form is like a gravity Spren. And
Oh yeah.
so they're just the regular kind of mindless Spren of the planet.
Sure.
Yep.
But then doesn't Relaine bond a Spren in this?
He, I think, gets a Spren at the end.
I think
Yeah.
he
But
comes
he
to
has-
talk to him. Like Timber talked to her for a while
Yeah.
first. So he's
Okay.
got a spren that's like, hey, maybe we can hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but you want to talk? But
your
she's like, we
sign.
can talk. Yeah.
And he's like, "You're for me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you're here for me, not because someone told you to come here for me.
He's like, I like you.
Yeah. And then they find a bunch more listeners, which is pretty cool because some of them survived.
The people of the plains.
Yeah.
That's good.
And we get a lot of backstory of Venli and
Yeah, because they're the
Eshonai.
flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like,
This was a redemption arc for Venli.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, because we went from Venli is so selfish, she literally leads her people to extinction. To Relaine being like, can you think about somebody else for once in your entire fucking life? And she's like, yeah, wow, I am a very selfish person. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And realizing that some of it was, she accepts that Voidsbrand guy into her gem heart. And he lied to her and told her everything she wanted to hear. Like, you're going to be the one in power. You're going to be the one who gets your people out of this. You're going to be we got to do these things to make sure that you end up leading everybody. And everybody recognizes that you're way better than your sister.
yeah.
Right. And she doesn't take on the physical form associated with that sprint. She stays as just
Right. Well, he does that on
like
purpose.
scholar form. Right.
Yeah.
So she's like incognito, already compromised by odium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and they all sing. They hum songs
All
I
the
really
time.
love that.
really all the time. And that's what... So is Rashar the only place where rhythms and music are so relevant? Or are there other...
Well, it's probably like in
Cosmere
Warbreaker that's
planets?
color.
Right, I know. That's like how the investiture shows up for the
That planet.
listeners
That
on
comes
this
up in Wind and
planet.
Truth.
Yeah.
They explain that more?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. It's fine. I'm going to reread that one.
Yeah.
If you were going to hum to derision, what would it sound like?
I don't fucking even know what
are you
derision
just,
is.
are you just grunting?
Contempt.
Yeah, contempt.
Oh,
Sarcastic
derision is
contempt.
contempt?
Yeah.
Sarcastic contempt.
Yeah.
See, exactly what I said.
Yeah, contempt would be like,
The thing that did strain credulity a little bit was when Navani figured out how to sing with Raboniel. And I was like, I have mad respect for you, Navani, but now you have perfect pitch too.
But she didn't have perfect pitch.
But
It was
she-
hard.
She needed Raboniel to.
It was hard, but she figured, and then she
she needed the auto tune.
I mean, she
Yeah.
did take music class.
she did because she's an accomplished lady.
She is an accomplished lady,
Yeah.
so she knows the basics.
she could be in STEM and could be singing too.
It's fine. I was like, okay, fine. I was like, fine, okay, sure. Of course
She
she
could
can.
be a good singer and be in STEM.
Yeah, because
Gosh.
they have like a musical together.
She's
They do.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was very wicked. Like we should
Yes.
sing together.
They were Glenda.
It was
Galinda.
Yeah.
Galinda and Elfie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for one of them is super bad.
Well, not yeah.
I mean, she's a good bad guy.
She was such a good example. That's why I was
This
like,
is what
To
that's why I
Phoebe.
was like,
What
this
was
is
her
what
name? It's a good
Bethany
villain.
needed to be. This is a good villain. I wanted to like Raboniel so bad, and even knowing she was the bad character and she was going to, even though Raboniel was
Because
like,
she
I
was-
will betray you in the end. I was like, I still kind of love you, Raboniel.
Yeah, because she was like, I'm really smart and we're going to share smarts, but I'm a bad guy.
there's a
I'm gonna
mutual
tell you I'm a bad guy,
respect.
Yeah.
but you forget.
Yeah.
But when
Right,
she
because
tells
she
you who
treats
you
everybody
are,
so respectfully.
yeah, you forget. She is, she is going to, at the end of the day, she's there for her.
Yeah.
But she's going to do what she needs to do to get to where she needs to go.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're going to have to battle
Yeah.
with your songs.
It was so good.
Yeah, she's
She was
really
so
well
good.
written.
She
was
was
very-
so well written.
Yeah.
And that is what I can't remember the word. Move along.
Like if you want to have a character like Stephanie, where you have someone compelling, someone where
Yes.
I never believed for a minute that Stephanie was ever going to be.
Not
Ever.
Well, I did for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
but then
I was like, this is it.
I kept waiting.
Sorry,
for,
Matt.
I kept waiting for
Not
Raboniel
to go
be
back
like,
to the Onyx Storm rage.
but I
we made a vow.
I know we did. I'm sorry, but it's a good comparison because that's effectively the same character where you have like,
She's gonna
Violet
get you
is like
somewhere. She's-
Navani, where Raboniel is like Stephanie, where it's like I have all the answers. I can give you what you need to figure this out so that you can solve the problem you're trying to solve. Mm-hmm. but I'm also the bad guy. You don't know
I'm
what
going
my
to steal
motives.
everything you
Yeah,
discover.
let's get some motives.
Yeah, you don't know what my motive is. You don't need to know. You don't need to know. I'm literally going to tempt you with what I know so strongly that you're going to be willing to do it anyway. And it was good.
It was good.
That whole section was really good.
So how did Navani get the tower to come back to life?
It was already alive. It was just pouting.
Did
Did she have to bond it to make it work?
Yeah, at the very end, yeah.
the very end.
but
oh my
it had to
God.
be
No,
willing to bond her.
Oh, I know.
So she had to prove to it that she could handle it.
Yeah, well, she had to prove she was trustworthy.
Was
Yeah,
it bonded to somebody before?
Yes.
And that's why it worked?
It had several.
Bonding.
It had
People.
bondsmiths before.
Yeah.
And that is what the bondsmith is kind of like the captain of the ship. And
Yeah.
keeps the HVAC running.
Yeah.
It's this human spren bond
That powers
that
the tower light.
makes all the machinery work. That
Yeah.
makes the energy transfer work.
Sure.
Because it's
Yeah, I get it.
a connection between the spiritual realm and the physical realm.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
And
sense.
the energy's all coming from the spiritual realm.
Oh, no.
And it used to be able to make its own light, but now that Honor is dead. They
'Cause Daddy-
can't.
it's
And
Daddy
Navani's
died.
like, he's not dead. He's alive in the hearts of all of us. And he's like, God, stop with that. That's when she hums Honor's song.
Navani?
Yeah. And then
How does she know an honor song?
because that's
what
what
She
they
did
were-
all her lab work.
yeah.
The
that's
Stormlight,
what-
the rhythm of Stormlight is honor,
And the rhythm of void light is
is odium.
odium. And the rhythm of tower light is
And
the
the
combo.
combination.
Yeah.
Well, Tower Light is the combo of Life Light
Sorry.
and
Stormlight.
cultivation
Stormlight.
light. Yeah.
But then
Lifeline is
when you
Skeksis
have
over there.
when you have the rhythms of odium and honor like merged together and in harmony, that's the rhythm of war.
Yeah.
Rhythm of War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their
I'm
little
gonna name this the
notebook.
Rhythm of War.
A Hobbit's Tale by Bilbo Baggins.
Did they call it war light?
No, they call
called
it Rhythm of War. They call it the
No,
Rhythm
but
of War.
the light that they made when they got Void Light and Stormlight to go together into one sphere, they called it, maybe it was Retribution Light or something.
No, I don't remember.
I need
No,
a
it wasn't
visual
that.
aid.
Yeah.
It was a
need-
lot.
I was just like,
it was
yeah,
a lot.
okie
There
doke.
were,
I need some
there were
color
vacuum
coding.
chambers. There was.
Okey-dokey. That's how I read it.
It was.
Sounds good to me.
It was. I just know it was a lot, and I was like, I am so happy that she is having this moment, and I'm glad I'm here with her. But I don't know what is happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, whatever you
I'm
say.
here. You know what, Navani? I'm. You know what?
I'm
This was
happy
a-
for you.
This is probably a good moment to talk about her arc because she goes all the
Yeah.
way from like she
From
talks
getting
about how
beat down by her husband.
right, and she's like, then I didn't have time after he died because I was busy seducing Dalinar, which I love that line. She's like, I had a Dalinar to seduce. Yeah,
She said, yeah.
yeah. I was like, you
Yep.
did too.
You sure did, girl.
Yeah,
She been waiting for that though.
I know. She's like,
That big old butt.
she's like that.
She
gonna
said
be
she
mine.
want that juicy booty.
I know. And then I like her thing about banners, where she's sitting there talking about the banners. And she's like, am I a banner? Do I have like a, because she's talking about how
They
banners,
call it Warlight.
Warlight. The whole chapter is called banners. And she's just talking about like how they use banners for different things. And you use it on a battlefield to like direct troops. And it was an interesting, like she's having a moment where she's like, Dalinar's leaving and he might die and I might be left alone again. And what does that mean for me?
Yeah.
And then she has to try and defend the tower. And she does a really good job because she has an idea and they're like, sorry, Navani, I'm not really sure that that's a great idea. And she's like, okay, so like, what would you do? Mm-hmm. And those people all die. And she's like, I sent them to their deaths, but I had to do it.
To show them I was right. And they
Well,
were
to
stupid
buy
for
her
not
time.
listening to me.
Well, to buy her time so she
Yeah.
can go and turn on the
I like the
force
flying
field.
glove
Yeah, the flying
that comes out of the lab.
I like her when they give her the glove and she's like, "Oh, great, a glove! Wow, a
Wow.
glove. Okay, that's not what I mean. All right,
All right.
that's
That
not-
reminds me.
So great.
That
She's like
reminds
such
me of
a
a
mom.
thing from
Like,
one of my first jobs out of school. I had this project, and I was making this machine for like our factory floor production, and they gave me this post with 3 like light sections on it, and so I had it. So when it was still warming up, it was flashing the yellow light, and if there was an error, it would flash the red light, and when it was ready to go, the green light was on, and I had, I think, another message another state that the lights could be in. And my boss was like, give an engineer 3 lights. They're going to use all 3 lights. Even if you don't need them.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
tries it and she's hanging by the, and she's like, can you bring a ladder? I would like to get down.
Can I come down now?
Can I come down now? Okay. Yeah, that was really cute.
I love that.
And then they get invaded. And then she has to be like wartime queen.
Yeah.
Because
she kills it.
She
She's
crushes
really
it.
good at like being sneaky. She's being sneakier than we all realize because then at the end,
well, she set all those traps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just storing stuff out here. I've got to put these boxes out here. And she has her pain fabrials, which she figures out how to make into inflicting pain instead of just reducing pain.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like on the fly modifying her fabrials to create traps all by herself because she's cut off from all of her scholars.
Peoples.
Yeah. It was a good moment for her. I kept waiting for like Dalinar to figure it out and come back and save her.
No, she saves herself.
And I was like, Dalinar's going to figure it out and he's going to come back and save her. And then I was like, you know what? I'm glad she saved herself.
She saved
I am
herself.
Yeah.
so thankful.
She's just as competent. She's as competent as she needs to be.
Right. Because she ends up, they invent the inverse of void light. And so Raboniel uses it to kill her daughter.
Yeah.
That
and
was
then is
rough.
like, cool, I figured that out. Like that needed to be done. And then tosses the dagger aside. So she tries stabbing Raboniel with it later and it's not enough, which just sucks. So Raboniel's just like, anyway. And then fucking Moash.
Fucking
Moash stabs
Dude.
her.
He's such a stupid.
She
ass
goes through
guy.
all this shit and then Moash stabs her. And that's when she's talking to the sibling. And the sibling's like,
You know
you
who
just want to
Moash
come back.
is? JD Vance.
A little bit.
Fucking Moash.
Fucking Moash. But that's when the sibling's like, you just want to get healed. And she's like, yeah, don't you want to live? And then she says, my favorite part is she says the like, strength before weakness, life before death, strength before weakness. And then she's like, journey before destination, you bastard.
You bastard.
And then blinds him.
Yes,
I was
love
like,
that.
that is a good moment.
Yeah. And
That was a
yeah.
good moment.
The moment that terrified and elated me was when the siblings like, you're not worthy. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, that's it. That's going to take Navani out.
Yeah.
Because he just like repeating back
What Gavilar said.
old abuse that she's heard. I'm like, that would take me out. I'd be like, you're right.
Yeah.
I might as well just
I
lay down
know.
and die.
You'd be like, I know.
I know.
I know.
Yeah. Navani's like,
And she
I
was
don't know.
like, try again, bitch.
I know. That was a good
try
moment.
again.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
She got me
It's
through
just
this
a
book.
problem, and there's a solution,
Yeah.
and always looking for the solution.
Right.
And Raboniel
And
helps
Yas
her
is
with
like
that.
too.
Yes.
Yas gets
Raboniel
that.
helps her through that.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
she's like,
she
I'm not a scientist. She's like, girl, you are. She's like, girl, look
You're
at
a
this.
scholar.
Do you think,
Girl,
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 look
look
at this.
You think anybody can do this?
She's like, girl, we're scientists. And
Yeah.
She's like,
We're
"Oh my God,
sciencing."
we are. She's like, you are so good at this. Do you know how long I've been working on this? 7,000
even-
years.
Like
You figured this out.
7,000
they're
years.
girls, even when they have to be villains.
Yes.
That's how you
Enemies.
villain and be a girl.
Yes.
I support you and uplift you, and I'm gonna have to kill you.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
But she does do that. And that's
Yeah.
why she's such a good character. Because even at
So
the end, I'm
good.
like, Raboniel, I get it.
Yeah.
I know you did bad things, but
I'm
still
going to
love
slit
you.
your throat with all the respect in the,
The world. So much honor in this throat
So
slicing.
much
Yeah.
honor.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
It was good. And then meanwhile, I have our board. So Shallan and Adolin are not with everybody the entire time. They
Right.
leave immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And they are off on their own little journey. And they're not in like a good chunk of the book.
Yeah.
And then they come back towards the end because they're journeying through Shadesmar to go
Shadesmar.
try to convince the honors bren because we have lots of recruits.
Because Adolin's like, you know
And
what?
not
I
enough
got
honor.
it. I got this.
Yeah.
I can convince
Send
them.
me.
Send me. I
got
can
this, y'all.
do this. Darling, grab my cape. We've got this.
And he has like 5
Somebody
trunks.
make me a new cape for this.
4 of them are full of swords.
Prepare my trunks with my finest garb.
Briggs his horse.
I love when he's standing in front of the mirror and she's like, do you need 15 more minutes? And he's like, I think I need 15 more minutes. She's like, I'll tell them an hour. And he's like, I'm not going to need an hour. And she's like, I'll tell them an hour. And he's like, yeah, you probably should.
Yeah. That role reversal is so great.
It's so delightful.
It
It's
is.
so
It's
delightful.
a treat.
And yet he's also wrestling with what he's learned about his dad at this, because he ends up
He's-
picking that coat that his dad hated, and he's like, I liked it. My dad didn't like it, but like my dad killed my mom, so I don't really fucking care what he thinks right now.
I don't care about
Right, and
anything that
he
my
had
dad
Oathbringer
says.
Yeah.
read to him
Yeah.
several
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, all right.
Like a good Vorin man.
Yeah.
On audiobooks only. I love the fandom. The fandom is always like, a good Vorin man only listens to the audiobooks. Like, okay, bro.
But he has such a good journey in this too, because we end up in the honor, what is it,
Lasting integrity.
lasting integrity or whatever, which, okay.
The castle.
Okay.
And,
The castle of the honor sprint.
and he has to get himself in there because they're like, nope, adios. And they don't send Kaladin because they're like, we don't actually think they like Kaladin all that much. And he's like, they will like me better than Kaladin. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I am
Finally.
on my way.
Adolin is searching for his place
Yeah, for his
and
purpose.
his
His
purpose
calling.
because he knows like he is such a strong character, just like Kaladin, but Kaladin is the hero, and he's like, damn, that's the fucking hero. I need to go be a hero somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like I gotta find another place to be. Like there's my dad, there's Kaladin, and then there's like, look how nice I look.
Yeah.
And like
He's refusing to just go along with something
Yeah.
because people are expecting him to do it.
Right.
Like becoming king.
Like becoming
He's trying to
king.
figure out what he's good
giving
at.
up his shard blade so that he can bond a radiant spren. He's
Yeah.
like, no,
I'm not going to
I'm
do
not
that.
going to do that just because
Hey,
you asked me to
what?
do that.
Who do you think he got all that from?
His mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His fucking mom.
His mom.
Yeah.
That is Evie's fucking son.
Yeah.
Like that wonderful, compassionate, loving, kind-hearted woman is who Adolin is.
And he ends up being exactly who Shallan needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Shallan is like the fucking Blackthorn. Like she's a baddie, but she struggles. Like it's a great example
Struggling.
of like mental health and like
Yeah.
compartmentalization.
Oh my
and
God,
her
shadow
struggle,
work.
Yeah, her struggle with Veil and Radiant, and like not even knowing. It's kind of interesting that she doesn't even know what Veil's doing.
Yeah.
Like there's this huge disconnect. She
Yeah.
is shutting off when Veil comes to light and
Yeah.
Radiant comes in.
And then she keeps saying she's not strong enough. So Adolin gives her that pep talk. He's like, I knew a one-armed guy one time, and you'd think he wouldn't be good at arm wrestling, but he was the best at arm wrestling.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and she's like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
He's like, wait, I'm trying to figure this out. And he's like, who's the stronger
Who's the
swimmer?
stronger
It's
swimmer?
the guy who drowns or the guy standing on the shore who never swam at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's like, who's the stronger swimmer?
Yeah.
Guy, get it.
Like
Click.
clicked.
She's like, oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm the stronger one because I have these struggles and I've overcome them.
Oh my
Right.
God. What was that line that Vale says to her? It's like, there's no strength that I have that you do not also possess.
Yeah, we're the same person.
It's the same. You have this.
Yeah.
Whatever
I am a
strength
part
you have
of
in
you.
me,
Yeah.
that is you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
I'm
was
a part
like-
of I am you. You made
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
That got me good. Brandon.
I love when
There were a couple moments where I was like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks a lot. So if we're doing Shallan's arc, we do
Shallan and
find out
Adolin.
what she
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah. We do because we have the trial, which the trial was traumatizing for me personally. Because especially, but I love how Adolin handled it when he turned around and he's like, all right.
because it felt so unjust,
Yeah.
and you don't do well with that.
I didn't like it. But
You
he
have a really strong sense of justice.
But he calls it out really quickly. He turns around and he's like, okay, you guys are all here. This is a thing you've orchestrated. So go ahead, play all your parts. Who's next?
Yeah.
Who's fucking next? And they're
Yeah.
all like, and he's like, was it you? You're
And
the one?
The second act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, no one was actually here to hear what I had to say. You were all here. Just you had prejudged me.
Yeah.
Is that really honor?
Yeah.
Is that what honor really is? And then they bring Maya up and he's like, no, she doesn't need to be up there. And they're like, oh, because you don't want her to say that you're like, you don't want people to see your shame. And he's like, no, because she's hurting. She doesn't like being
She's
here.
terrified.
But aren't you paying attention? Can't you tell? She's in pain. She's suffering.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then Maya saves the day.
She sure does.
She's like, you don't get my sacrifice. I chose.
I chose.
We chose.
We chose.
Yeah. And that was a big revelation.
It was
because
huge.
Up till now, you think
They
that
thought that they were
did that.
victims, but
Right.
they thought they were victims, but they weren't. It was a conscious choice.
They thought
for
it
the
was
radiance.
a thing that the humans did.
No, and it
Yeah.
was a
Destroyed the
conscious
Spren.
choice between the Spren and the radiance to part ways.
Yeah.
To
They
split
didn't-
their bond. To
They
break
didn't
their
know
bond.
that would happen. They didn't know
Yeah.
that they would become like that, but they chose to do it. They knew the
Yeah.
risk and they did it.
Yeah, they knew
anyway.
the risk.
Yeah.
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 I mean, Maya's journey in this is incredible
Yeah.
because her ability, like when she does start to like communicate and talk and
Only
Right,
Adolin.
and they do the sword form practices together.
Yes.
Yeah. And only Adolin of
Adolin.
all the characters could have done that for Maya.
Yeah.
yeah, because of his compassion.
Yeah.
Because of his loyalty and compassion to that fucking sword.
Yes.
To
Of
that
his
Spren.
golden retriever
That fucking
energy.
Spren. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I cannot talk about it a little anymore because it pops up. It's a big deal in Wind and Truth.
Okay.
And so I'm having some emotions
Okay.
Yeah.
that I don't want to have.
Stop it.
What
Yeah.
I'm thinking is there's like the old school, like original definition of agape.
Yeah.
Agape love is the love that you like invest in someone, that you give to somebody to make them be a person. It's like
Yeah.
you give that kind of just supporting one way love to a baby to help it grow into a person. And that's kind of how Adolin treats Maya.
Yeah.
Yeah. With compassion
I'm
and
here
love and support.
just for you, and I'm not expecting anything back.
Yeah, and he does it so naturally. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
his gift, and it is what makes him. You know, Dalinar doesn't do that. Kaladin doesn't do that.
No.
It's a different type of love. It's a different type of support, and it's a different type of strength. And at the end of the day, that is what makes Adolin sets him aside, and that's
Yeah.
what takes him on his journey. That's what Shallan needs.
Yeah.
Do they get together in this one?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They have a moment on the hillside when he takes her to go see the star spren because she hasn't been coming out very often.
Fade to black.
It fades to black though.
But do they get married?
Yeah, they're already married.
They're already married.
Okay.
They've been married.
Yeah, they've been
Don't look
married.
I don't remember when things happen.
Yeah, they've been married.
They're married. They're married.
Yeah,
They got
and
married
they're-
in the last book.
I think it happens in between.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
off
the,
page.
the wedding happens in between. We don't.
Okay,
so we
Yeah.
but
don't
they're
see it.
married now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And then Shallan remembers that she had a spren before Pattern. And that's why, because I was wondering why because she has a shard blade when we first meet her, but
Yeah,
she
but-
hasn't bonded Pattern
And we
yet.
know that,
Right.
but
And
we
she-
don't get an answer to
And
it.
it takes her 10 heartbeats
she killed-
to summon that spren. To summon
Yep.
her original shard blade takes 10 heartbeats. Like it would for a dead spren.
Yep.
And then later when she has Pattern just appears. And she never mentions the other shard blade ever again.
Yeah,
And it's because she has
is it Pattern that she kills the lady within Words of Radiance, or is that just a random
Yes.
sword that pops up
Yeah. When she's on her way to
to the plains?
the
That's
Shattered
just
Plains.
a random sword, right?
No,
that is
that's
Pattern?
her original.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
spren.
Like,
Yeah.
so
Right.
we this
Because
whole
she
time
hasn't
we
sworn
knew
enough
that
of
was like
oaths with Pattern.
Yeah,
with
there-
new Pattern.
right to have that, and so
Right.
we're like, where the fuck? So we knew really early, like something's not fucking
she's
right.
got a shard blade in Way of Kings.
Right. And
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm saying.
It's
Yeah.
implied
Yeah.
that she just has a shard blade from like her dad.
yeah,
She picked one up.
Like
We
her
don't
dad
explain
had
where
one
she
and
got
she
it.
got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she got it when she was a baby, like
Because
well,
she
little
mentions
kid.
it when
When
she's
she was
in
little.
the alley with Yasna. She's like, I could defend myself. I just need 10 heartbeats.
Yeah,
And she doesn't specifically say she has a shard blade. She's just like, I'm 10 heartbeats away.
yeah. She's carrying that damn secret with
Yeah,
her the
it's
whole
like
time.
They picked.
I love when she's like, Aelin, there's things you don't know about me. I'm so mysterious. And then she's like, I really know Yasna because I was just going to steal from her. I just really wanted to steal. And he's like, yeah, that's fine.
He's just
She's like, yeah, it would
He's
be
like,
great for her
yeah.
to have somebody do that to her. I approve. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fine.
He's like,
It's totally
love that.
fine. Yeah, I
Love
love
that
that
for
for you. Yeah.
what? She's like, I'm sorry, what?
I know. That's why the whole time she's like, they'll turn against me. I'm like, Adolin, have you met Adolin?
you met
met your husband? You could tell him anything and he'd be like, okay, Shallan, we'll get through this.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she integrates Vale. She becomes one with Vale because she's there to
Yes.
kill the Herald guy that's living with the spren in lasting integrity.
Yeah.
Is it Kalak?
Kalak, yeah.
Collect.
Collect.
Who's
Kalak.
Yeah,
who's in the
Kelek.
beginning of the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collects breath.
Yeah.
Kalak.
Yeah.
Kalak.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she gets her original spren that she killed on accident because she broke their bond. Because she was just a child when she bonded with it.
What's his name?
We don't know what its name is.
It was Pattern also.
No, it wasn't also
She
Pattern.
gives it.
She
No.
gives it
She
another
gives it
name.
a different
No,
name.
it has a different name, and
Yeah.
we know the name.
Well,
I don't
at the
remember.
end of this book, her and Adolin
It's-
name it something
Yeah, they pick
because
out
they
a
don't
new name for
remember
it.
the name. So they just start referring to it as.
It has a name.
That's
at
figuring
the-
it out.
But at the end of this book, they don't know the name. They just assign it a name.
Yeah.
Testament.
Testament. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
That's
did like,
just what they call it.
and I liked Formless because with Formless is the thing that they don't want to have happen the whole time. And then she
Yes.
becomes Formless and they're like,
It's-
that's just you, Shalon.
All right, Shalon.
That's okay, Shalon.
Yeah,
She's
that
like,
was
no,
real.
no, I'm formless.
Nuh-uh. I'm formless.
I'm formless. They're like, no, you're just Shalon.
No, you're Shalon with like really heavy eyeliner.
Yeah. Guy liner on.
Eyeliner. Yeah, that was awesome.
That whole arc was so good because it
Yeah.
it gave Adolin a chance to be Adolin
Yeah.
and to win the day by being himself.
He
Right.
did win the day. Like Shalon was a mess for a lot of this. She was freaking out about Pattern betraying her. She was like freaking out,
Who ends up being the betrayer?
Oh, Pattern is the one that was leaking
Yeah, he
information
was the
back
one
to
that was.
Mraize.
Yeah, but he didn't mean to.
He was talking to Wit.
Yeah,
He was talking to Wit on the
Mraize?
box.
Yeah.
Wit on the cube.
On the cube.
Oh, I thought he was.
No, because you just tell it who you want to call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Wit.
he was just calling Wit. He was like, I was talking to Wit about you. I'm sorry. I'm like really worried about you. So I was just
Yeah.
trying to get some advice about
Just
what to
calling
do.
Wit. No big deal.
And she's like, oh, okay. All right. Traitor.
Oh, we get a little Wit Yasna.
Oh, yeah. That there, he's like, what is it? She can take care of his physical needs or whatever, his needs for physical intimacy. And I was like, oh, all right. She's like, but he was so intellectually stimulating. And I was like, okay, Yasna.
Okay, Yasna.
Okay, Yasna.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Yasna to have more screen time. Like, I feel like
too.
he's used her for quite a bit as like the, hey, here, I need a real smart person to
The
do a
Gandalf
smart thing.
character.
Boop. And then, okay,
Yeah.
it's fine, but
Book 10.
Okay.
It's Yasna's book.
Yeah. I told
Supposedly.
Rachel there's some character growth for
Supposedly.
Yasna in
Okay.
Book
Wind
10
and Truth.
Not
yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
there is some.
Yeah.
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 I mean, her and I think Wit is the perfect person for her, which
yes.
is why I picture Wit as an attractive man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Not necessarily like.
Well, I don't feel like they
honestly, you know who I
described
think
him
the perfect
until this book.
Walter Goggins.
What is he
Oh,
playing?
oh.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know
the guy
who you're
from
talking about.
Fallout and White
Yeah.
Lotus.
Yeah, he was in
And,
Fallout.
and the Righteous Gemstones, like
Let me
everything.
see. I'm going to see.
He's so I think his name's Goggins. Is that right?
yeah,
it
Walter
is.
Goggins.
Sorry, he's
Yep.
so untraditionally attractive.
Yes.
Are you crazy?
No. Are you crazy?
Let me see.
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
He's
being
very, very.
whipped.
He's very, very. I mean, I don't think he's. I think he could play a little
He's not
kooky.
pretty,
No, but he's
but he's
attractive.
Yeah, attractive.
Yeah. And I think he could probably play a Hoyd type character.
Yeah.
If he wanted to. He doesn't. He typically plays like very like smooth guys, like a lot of Riz,
Schmoozy.
Yeah.
schmoozy. But I think he could do it.
Yeah. And
Anyways, but
Yasna gets to fight on a battlefield, which felt very like, I would like to see how the Poors do it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
started calling people pores. I'm like, I'm a poor.
Yeah.
I'm a poor.
She's like, are we going to,
we're
the
all
Poors
poor.
are going to fight. Yes.
Which
I would
she
like to
does-
know how that
she does
feels.
get some perspective.
But luckily,
on,
I have like shard plate, which
Yeah.
this is that the first time we knew that shard plate, like fourth?
the fourth ideal
Fourth
is
ideal
when you
gets
get
you
your
shard
shard
plate.
plate.
I
Yeah,
just
she
figured
said-
that out this
That's
book.
when you get
so.
your.
I think
That's
it
when
was
you
'cause
get
I-
your nanotech.
Yeah. Because she's like, okay, I got my shard plate. I'm ready to go. And then she gets tripped and somebody stabs her in the eye and she's like, ow, it's real. Oh, no. She's like, seal her plate up and like heal for a minute. She's like, okay, I need to regroup. Like,
Let's go take a 10-minute break.
and then Wit like
The
brings
10.
her fruit. He's like, is this really what we need to be doing right now? Yes. And she's like, I would like to know how it feels.
Yeah.
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 But
And her
it's
whole
just-
honor guard dies. And she's like, whoopsie doodle.
She's kind of like Mrs. Frizzell. A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
but
like, oh, this just feels less theoretical now.
I just love that Yasna is dating kind of like the most powerful being in the Cosmere.
yeah.
And
Like,
I
that
wouldn't
is
have
just-
it any other way.
I know.
There's
That's what
no
I'm-
there's
there's
no
no
other
other
being that's good
Yeah.
enough for
it
her.
doesn't matter that she's 34 and he's
Like,
10,000.
No
we
human
want to talk
man.
about a fucking age gap. Like it's the
How
most.
long have you been 17?
Oh, wow.
How long have you
which
been
case it's like-
54? He's like an older dude.
10
Like,
millennia.
Yeah, you know, he's got some gray. It's like, how long have you been 55 years old? Oh, 10,000 years.
Give or take.
He's not pretending to be a teenager.
10,000 ish, give or take.
It depends. You know, years are different on different planets. So
I don't really know.
I spent some
Roughly
time traveling at
900
relativistic speeds, time dilation,
you know.
Who knows?
Meh.
It gets hand wavy.
But I love how like he is immediately fascinated by her. Like
Yeah.
he's immediately like, oh, that is a partner for me.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite part of this book. Honestly, is that Mitt and Yasna got to be a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I was
cool.
like, oh, love.
Is this where he realizes that he's missing some time?
No, not yet. Because that happens at the very end
yeah,
of
at
the
the
book.
very end of the book, that was a bit disturbing to me.
Yeah, that was, yeah. But then Kaladin, to continue on with the next character, this was my favorite Kaladin arc because we
Yes,
were
me too.
all set to have him be our like power to greater power to level it. Like our Marvel character that just gets bigger and better Iron Man suits.
He takes a boom.
And they're like, you know what, actually, no more fight for you.
Honestly, this is just Iron Man 3.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be real, like a lot of characters with multiple movies, they have a movie where they try and go back to normal life.
Yeah. Well, this is his like you've seen too much and you
He's
need
just,
to.
I'm
You
gonna
need to
work
take a
with
step
like
back.
war vets and like.
Well, he
you know.
shows up at the like asylum and he's like, why are they all in the dark? And they're like, well, they do better when they're in the dark.
No,
and
they
he's like,
don't.
when they're in the dark and they're alone, and they're like, yes. And he's like, that guy's writing on the wall with his own feces. And they're like, yeah, but he'd be worse if the light was on.
yeah, I think it's,
we could see it.
And we could see it. And he's like, as an experiment, can I take one outside? And they're like, I mean, if you want to take the risk, I guess.
if we had to read a star chart, I think Kaladin has like his depth of emotion, which he does get from his father,
Yeah.
and his compassion. Like it is the way that his father has raised him, and who he is naturally. And that's the thing we really need to talk about. His father is a boomer.
I
want to
shank his
Oh
father.
my
through
God.
half of his
father
face.
He was
is such
annoying
a
the
fucking-
shit out of
he is
me.
such a boomer.
He
in
is,
this.
yeah.
And really what has happened, and I'm not saying that this is his father's fault, but Kaladin has so much self-loathing
Yeah.
and pain and depression because he was built with this moral system of only doing good and compassion, and who he really is this protector and this
Yeah.
like immense warrior. And him not being able to find the balance between those things, and not to mention like losing people constantly and the trauma of Bridge 4.
yeah.
Like, I mean, take that out of a fantasy series. And I mean, there have been times on this planet in real life when people were treated that way
Yeah.
as just a mode to war.
He was cannon fodder.
Yeah, cannon fodder.
And he hasn't really dealt with it.
No. And
yeah.
he is this sensitive man with deeply feeling man who is also, incredibly hot.
Yeah. And he just really wants to protect the people around him.
Right.
Sometimes no matter the cost.
Right.
And then his dad is like, you're a fucking monster. I
You're a
can't
monster.
believe
You're not my
you're not my
son."
son anymore.
Yeah.
you're
That-
not my son
that-
anymore because you're not doing it exactly the way I think you
Right.
should do it.
Yeah.
And that is such a
I
boomer
was like,
shit. And
yes.
like,
Yes, that I have a very rigid expectation of how you behave, and you are not behaving to the letter of my expectation.
Oh my God.
and so
I'm
you,
taking-
I'm not giving
Yeah.
you any agency or any trust. You just have to follow my explicit black and white rules.
I hated Liren for
yeah,
most
he-
of this
and,
book.
And thank God thank God we did get some growth from him. Thank
Yeah.
God his wife.
Finally.
His
Flip,
wife.
flip, 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 flip.
Yeah.
His wife's
Yeah.
like, the fuck is wrong with you?
That is your
The
son.
fuck is wrong with you?
Go back in there and
Also,
apologize to
I
your son.
I also respect the example of a rigid moral code because Kaladin got that.
Yeah.
And that is very admirable in a person. But when he cannot see his son for who he is, which is like
Amazing.
the world fucking savior.
Amazing.
He's a fucking idiot. Like, shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. He's not a surgeon. He's like 10 levels up.
Yeah.
Like he does, you know
He
what I mean?
can
He taught
surgeon,
people.
but
Yeah.
that's
He can
not who he
also
is.
delegate
The dog
and be
that
a
wanted to
general
be a
and
dragon.
Oh, that was, yeah.
The dog and the dragon story that Wit tells him when he's.
Matt cried.
Oh my
When
God.
he's
cry
like, you
every
will be
time I
warm
hear that.
again.
Every time.
When he's like, you will be warm again. He's like, and then you won't be. And
Yep.
then you will be again.
yeah.
But you will be warm again. And I was like, okay. Because that's because Moash has been given access to his mind to be able to fuck with him.
Yeah.
And so he's trapped on like Braze.
Moash trying to convince him to kill himself.
Yeah, I was like, the fucking Moash. Fucking Moash.
Fucking Moab.
Fucking Moash. And then he saves Teft. And then,
Ugh.
right? Yeah, if we're going to cry about anything in this book, it's when Teft dies.
I'm so mad. When that happened, I was like,
I knew exactly when you sent that text and you were like, I hate Brandon. I was like, oh, Teft just
shit.
died.
I knew too, and I didn't want to say anything because just in case.
Yeah.
no, you didn't have to say anything. We all knew.
Well, that's why I cried like 2 pods ago when we
Yeah.
were talking about Teft.
yeah.
It is really
God.
fucking
At
sad
least
because,
I'll die loved.
you know,
Stop.
and the fact that like,
Right, and in the moment,
Teft is
he's
like the
just
first person that's
experienced the
hope.
crushing loss of his spren,
Yes.
because his spren
but
got killed.
Yeah.
he also has hope, like for the first time in his
Right,
life.
even in the moment of the loss of the most significant bond that he's ever had with another creature, he loses that, and even then, he still has that
Well, it's
knowledge that
yeah.
he's loved.
What's the longest anyone he's ever been off Moss is like in the last 30 years. And he's like, and it's because they won't, like, I have so many friends and I just, like, I'm in such a good place now. And then he's like, to say that to Moash was perfect because he's like, you might kill me and you might have done this to me, but you lose in the end because I die loved and you never will.
yeah.
Yeah. And you'll die alone. Yeah. And then when Kaladin loses it because he throws Teft's body at his feet and he just collapses and picks Teft up and nobody touches him. He's like wailing in grief, holding his best friend because Teft was the first one who was like, I think I know what's going on
Teft
with
picked
you.
him up.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And then everyone's like, give him a minute. Even the
Like, just stop.
even the fused,
Like,
even
everybody-
the fused are like, hold time.
Time out, everyone.
Give this man a
Because
minute.
the fused aren't bad. They're just on the wrong side.
Right. They're just on a different
That's not
side.
how we feel about you if you voted for Trump, though. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Just kidding.
There's this guy I follow on Instagram, and he started making some merch based off of
Yeah.
lines that he's come up with, but it's like paint your nails, punch a Nazi.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then he goes up to jump off the roof.
Yeah, and he
Kaladin.
jumps off the roof for 10 hours.
Yes.
For 10 long years, he's
Da-
jumping
that's
off.
That's Dalinar.
That's Dalinar, like stretching time.
Yeah, because the Stormfather's like, dude, he fell off the roof. I can't make him not fall off the roof. He's like,
Pause the
slow
time.
He's like, hit the pause button. Give the man a minute.
Just a
Give the
minute.
man a minute. And in that minute, I mean, it's probably like 20 minutes of thoughtfulness and
He
time
sees
and
his
like,
brother.
yeah. And Tien's like,
Oh my God, the conversation with
Oh,
his brother where
God.
he's like, yeah, he died, but like, think about all the things you did for him before then. And then like, you just dropped him off somewhere he was going anyways.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, wow.
And then,
1,100 pages of Navani doing science. And then the last 100 pages is like, how
Kaladin
about,
getting his nano suit.
how about a treatise on grief and death and
Yeah.
dying and
Yeah.
the importance of a life well lived? And
The only thing I remember about this book, honestly, is that Kaladin gets his sharp plate after falling for 5
Tien
hours.
gives
Yeah.
him the horse.
Horse, yeah.
And he's like, don't lose it this time, man. I worked hard on that. And then it disappears immediately. And when Kaladin later is like, what was the point of that? I guess he wasn't real. It was just me making something up. And then he finally gets Hoyd's flute back because Lift had it. And then it's like, oh, it was in this Lost and Found. And he goes there and the horse is in the Lost
Yeah.
and Found. And he's like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
I lost this so long ago. There's
On the
no
Shattered
way.
Plains.
Yeah.
Somebody must have picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
what is the fourth ideal? He swears. I accept that.
There will be people
There
I
will be
cannot protect.
yeah. Like, I can't save everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he throws his shard plate around to save people.
Dude, does not everybody's shard plate do that? It's only Kaladin.
Well, I think Kaladin just
think-
because he's like, he doesn't feel the need to always protect. It's probably like,
Yeah.
It's a
doesn't have-
savior thing. Like, and
Yeah.
his shard is like, this is what I was talking.
He's competent enough in his skills that he doesn't need his sharp plate
well, probably
to
mentally.
not get hurt.
Well, probably
Yeah.
mentally, it's
Right.
like, nope, not me, them. Nope,
Yeah.
not me, them.
Yeah.
Them.
Yeah.
Instead of like,
It's just
So it's
another
like-
tool for him
It's
to
probably
save.
It's like a
like
shield.
something nobody ever did.
And he,
Because
yeah.
reflexively, you're protecting yourself. I need to
oh, yeah.
stay
Like,
alive.
great. This is all covering me. I'm good to go.
Yeah. Well, when
Yes.
that little boy is going to get stabbed and all of a sudden it doesn't work. And then
That was
Kaladin's
cool.
like, I'm back, bitches. And he like, he like
And then, like,
flies up.
he flails his shard plate on the
Kaladin and Liren they come to some kind of agreement
Yeah.
that, okay, maybe two things can be true. One thing for me, one thing for you, even though we have the same fundamental values, we're expressing those values differently.
Yeah,
Right.
because he catches him and he's like, well, I mean, I'm flying and I'm holding you. So do we agree now or do I drop you? He would never drop him. But yeah, the moment where he comes back and he like flies up over the buildings and he gives the like Kill Bill speech where he's like, if I have taken your limbs, they are mine. You must leave them here. But if you can walk, you need to walk the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So you might want to go because Kaladin's back. And
Yeah.
they're all like,
Kaladin's back,
okay, yep,
bitches.
all right, that's Stormblessed. We'll be seeing
See
you
you
guys later.
See
Yeah.
you later.
Except
Yeah.
some of the fused fight for them. Leshwi fights for them
Yeah.
because Venli reveals that she's
She's a
also
radiant.
radiant. And they're like, okay, well, now I'm conflicted
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I'm supposed to be on your side, but you're also on my side, but you're also on their side. Like maybe there is
Another way.
yeah.
Another path.
yeah.
Because they don't want to have to walk this path anymore.
And I like how he shames the pursuer. He doesn't even really defeat him. He's just like, oh, you're running
Embarrasses
away.
him.
Guess you're now the running away or not the pursuer.
Defeated.
Ooh, and they're all like, "Ooh, yeah, the defeated now." And he's like, "No, I'm the pursuer." And they're like, "Yeah, whatever you say, the defeated."
Oh man, that was good.
That was a good moment. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
And Leshwi's like just watching. She's like, no, just wait.
yeah. This can be fine. It's fine. It's fine. And
She's like, don't you want to like help him, like intervene? No,
"No,
let's see what happens.
yeah, he's made his bed. Let's let him lie in it. It's fine."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Kaladin's flying shard plate shield defense system.
Yeah,
It needs its own name. Besides,
the Kaladin special.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's just going to fling it onto people.
Yeah, and they finally save Lift. Lift gets captured really early on,
Yeah.
and this is when we learn what the bargain that she made with
Yeah. Yeah.
cultivation.
Yeah.
She always wanted to be her mother's little girl.
So she didn't want to grow up because she didn't. And that's
Oh,
why
I
she
didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I missed that somehow.
That was her bargain. She didn't want to grow up because she always wanted to be her mom's little girl.
which is why she wouldn't let other people feed her.
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't want her mom to not recognize her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even though she knows her mom's gone.
And she's a
If she grows up, her mom will be really
And
gone.
she's how long have you been 12? 60,
A while.
60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that was
Lift's okay, right? Like she gets slashed in the legs by Moash, but she was like fine.
Yeah,
after that,
she's
right?
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Once-
the radiants can heal from
Once
that.
they get her out of the cage.
And she's a healer. Isn't one of her
Yeah.
skill
Yeah.
sets healing others?
It is, yeah.
Somebody
Restoration
just
or
needs to give her
whatever.
a couple pancakes. She'll be fine.
Yeah. She even heals Teft. Like, Kaladin takes her back to his secret lair.
To the room of requirement, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. I need a room right there, that room. Okay.
I need
door
a place
opens
to
for me.
hide myself and my injured friend in. I need a place to hide myself and my injured friend
And
in.
the little sibling, like, oh, and Dabbit finally talks.
Yeah.
Dabbit, who from the very beginning was like,
Hey,
"Oh,
buddy.
you're shell shocked." Yep, I am shell shocked. Yeah, that's why I'm not talking. Yep. That was an interesting.
She's like, you talk
Twist.
now? Cool. Can you say, like,
I know. But she heals Kaladin, and then she's sitting next to Teft, and Teft wakes up, and he's like, "Wait, you didn't want me to heal him too?" Because she can heal. She can like block the whatever is keeping the radiance incapacitated.
Because her light's different.
Yeah.
So they
because she
just-
uses lifelike.
Yeah. So they put all the stoppage on
Stormlight.
the Stormlight.
Yeah,
So
some
she
of her
doesn't
things
use-
don't work as well.
why, why
heal.
was Kaladin still awake?
Because he's high enough. He was close enough to the fourth ideal.
Okay.
for it to
Okay,
not-
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, because once he was fully
And he's
fourth
the
ideal, it
first
didn't matter.
person to. He's always the first person.
Yasma's sworn the fourth ideal.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
Because
a
she
shard
has,
plate.
yeah,
'Cause
because she's been
been-
a secret radiant for a really long time.
Yeah, she's been radiant for,
high-powered,
like, forever.
overpowered.
Yeah. And she
That's why
probably,
she's not around a lot because she's too powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she probably found it in a book.
Yeah.
And
she read about it.
I genuinely think that he is saving her like meat for later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah, I think so.
She's too good.
I have huge thoughts for where she's going, which I think I've shared before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's going to end up being like somebody pretty fancy.
And Lift gets a chicken.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a parrot.
Yes,
Which
a
is a
parrot.
parrot.
But all birds are chickens.
All birds
Yeah.
are chickens.
Because its owner got killed.
Yeah.
Because it leads her back to its owner, and it's like, wake it up. And she can't because the guy's been dead too long, which is really sad.
really sad.
Yeah. And then she gets captured by Murray's like immediately.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's when Venli is like, she sees Lift in the cage and they wheel her out and she's like, okay, I'm ready to say the words. And she's like, I will free those who are trapped. And then the words come back and they're like, yeah, not accepted. And she's like, oh shit, that's right. Because I just let that kid roll by in the cage. It was like, even her. And they're like, yeah, that's, if you swear you're going to free everybody, you're kind of got to free everybody. And she's like, oh God, all right.
I'm going to
Fine.
free those who are trapped.
Because she ends up freeing Relaine and making Relaine like her manservant so that he can be out and about. Because he's like, great, when it's all humans in the tower, I'm different because I'm
Yeah.
me. And then when it's all,
He can't win.
he's like, mm-mm,
Yeah.
I'm never at home anywhere. Which is probably why at the very end they go back to find the rest of the listeners and somehow have a like one of the chasm fiends on
Yeah.
their side.
As a pet.
You know when else I
A
cried?
chasm pet.
It's like
chasm
it's
pet.
just like a dragon,
Yeah.
but that looks like a hermit crab.
Yeah, a giant hermit crab that can
Dragon
kill you.
without a shell.
Yeah.
It's just like the.
Blech.
I mean,
Well,
they're
they have
very.
a carapace, so they have
Yeah.
like a shell. And you know when else I cried? When we talked about what happened when Ashoni died,
Yeah.
and the Stormfather was like, "Hey, you want to come for a ride?"
yeah.
and took her to see the whole world.
Yeah.
Which is
And
what
she
she'd
was-
always wanted to do.
And she was like, "Cool, I'm gonna go on another adventure now."
See ya.
And I was
Heading
like,
to the next place.
Yeah.
I
that
ended
was
up
good.
reading that multiple times. I had to go back and re-listen to the end because I thought he had like preserved Eshonai and put her in the Chasm Fiend's gem heart.
I thought that's what we were gonna go with too, but no.
Yeah.
She just
that's
leaves.
Like, she
when
really
I
is
finished it the
gone.
first time.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is that what happened? And I went back and
Well,
re-listened
she gave
to
up
it.
her whole life and everything she wanted to do for what Venli wanted. And so in
Yeah.
the end, she got to do what she wanted, which was see the world and
See
then
the world.
leave. Mm-hmm. They didn't
Go wherever they go.
They didn't need.
Yep.
She didn't need to be there to protect anybody anymore because Venli had it now. So she just left. Because she always wanted to be an explorer. She wanted to see the ocean. She wanted to go do
She
all
wanted
kinds of
to
stuff.
make maps of the entire world.
Yeah, and then because of what happened and because they assassinated Gavilar, which was partly her decision, she got stuck. So, which was kind of sad. It was very sad.
You want to talk about how Big T becomes Odium?
Yeah, Taravangian.
Can we
Fuck
talk about that?
old man.
God, he's starting to get a little Jack Barlow, and I'm not real happy about it.
God almighty.
He is.
I'm gonna die now. Are you? Are you? Because it feels like you're
Now
just
I'm really
never-
gonna die.
He's like, I'm dying. I'm dying right now.
Definitely.
No,
yeah,
God.
he's. It's like you knew, and he knew. It's like it. It was like it was always coming.
Yeah.
He was always gonna be, like, the fucking.
And
What did
cultivation groomed him.
Yeah. Because that way he would be able to control the power. Because Odium's power comes with the most, like, compulsion.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
and
the
so
compulsion.
they
It
talk
is-
about the passions.
Yeah.
The passions is like the leftover religion from when humans followed Odium.
Yeah.
And it was all like strong, overwhelming emotions. That's what Odium is.
Right. Well, that, yeah, as they said, of the shards, his is the most, like, difficult to control.
Yeah.
And so they were hoping that she was hoping that Taravangian, knowing what it was like to be
Right. He had
all this
like,
what,
she
40 years of practice with the disparity of like the most intellect
The least intellect.
balanced with the most emotions. And those emotions, a lot of the emotion was compassion, but it was also anger and
yeah.
judgment and jealousy and anxiety.
Yeah. And now he's God.
And so that
Just
was
one
supposed
of
to
them.
kind
Yeah.
of train him
Just
to
a
be
god.
able to
He's
handle
just
it.
a god. He's
Yeah.
just a shard.
It's
He's
fine.
just a
but he fucks with
dumbass.
wit, which was really
Yeah, that's the part that upset me.
yeah. When he's like, "Oh, is that where you store your memories? Cool, I'll go ahead and change those." I was like, "Oh no,
That's not good.
no,
Oh, are you the only person that knows who I am? Okay.
yeah." Oh, I gave it away. What gave it away?
Oops.
Oops. Sorry, I sounded a little too interested. I'll reel that back. Let's try that again.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I see. My predecessor would have never asked that question."
Yeah.
Got it. And you're like, "Ah, shit.
Yeah.
This isn't going to go well." Because now they have 10 days. Because Dalinar bargains with the storm. He bargains with Odium
Yeah,
by
so
himself.
Who
Dalinar's
is-
like,
who is Odium's champion going to be?
we don't know yet.
I thought it was going to be Moash, but now Moash is blind.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
I don't know.
To find out in Wind and Truth.
I don't know.
We don't even know who our side's champion's gonna be. Because Kaladin's like, "Hey, so I don't think I can do the whole champion thing." And Dalinar's like, "I wasn't even gonna ask you." And he's like, "Oh, that's great, actually. Yeah, that's."
No offense, but you weren't on the list.
And he's like, "It's cool. I didn't want to be on the list. Yeah, I didn't think I could. Right? Yeah, because every time I picked up a scalpel and I had a panic attack. So I think
I'm
gonna be doing
busy.
that.
I'm busy that day anyway.
Yeah,
I have to wash my hair.
that's what I was
Yeah, I have
My
to
long,
make sure. I have
luscious
to make sure
hair.
my bangs fly.
Yeah, the emo flute.
Yeah,
means-
I have to
Yeah.
make sure. How about he loses his shash?
Yes, finally.
He finally
Yes.
loses his slave mark.
Yes.
Yeah, he
They
finally
That was
finally-
awesome.
moves
Doesn't
through
see
that.
himself like that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good touch.
Yeah,
That was a
finally
really
it
good touch.
flakes off.
Scabs off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scabby.
Heals.
Yeah.
Love that.
Where was Dalinar?
Dalinar was off
Dalinar.
Dalinar-
doing stuff.
Didn't do
Galvin
much, but he went
being the
to go
battery for
find
everybody.
Ishar.
Ishar. Is this when the weird spren pop up with Ishar, or is that the last book?
Well, he goes and finds a tent
They
that's
find
full
the
of
camp.
like vivisected spren.
but the way they look in the
The way they look in the
one,
cognitive realm,
in the
but
real
in
life,
the physical realm.
which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
Can you imagine seeing like a pattern head, like still?
And it's like looks like dead snakes or whatever because they're all like
Yeah,
dead
not
and
moving.
black and
Yeah.
yeah, it was a gross
creepy.
moment. And they're like, you know what, we need to go.
Yeah.
We need to just back out. So he almost breaks Dalinar's bond with the Stormfather. He's like, oh,
Right,
I see you got a
'cause
bond
Ishar-
there.
He's just faking it.
Ishar
Yeah.
has the honor blade of the bondsmith.
Yeah.
And so he has the same abilities as Dalinar, except he has thousands of years of experience in how to use them.
Yeah. That's why he goes. He's like, maybe he can teach me how to do stuff.
Right.
And then Ishar's just
Psycho.
psycho.
He's
Completely
lost
insane.
his damn mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
and
Dalinar, does Dalinar do a perpendicularity?
A bunch. Every time they need Stormlight, he's like,
Well,
bloop,
right, but
pull that together for you.
when he's with Ishar,
That's how I like imagined it. Like,
or I think Dalinar swears that his
squat
next
with his
ideal,
big old strong butt.
or somebody does, while they're with Ishar, and Ishar like gets a little more lucid
Oh yeah,
for a
somebody
moment.
yes, somebody swears their ideal, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, when you do that, I can think for a minute. I'm gonna go, so I don't hurt you. See you later." And leaves.
He's like, here's a couple pieces of information, but this is not going to last long. I got to go.
"Yeah, don't trust me later. Byes," and he leaves. Yeah,
don't trust me later. Bye.
Yeah, he almost takes Dalinar's bond with the Stormfather.
Yeah, that
And
was
because
scary.
honor isn't there.
there's no there's no checks and balances.
The checks and balances have been subverted.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
That can happen.
Wow, this book. Now I'm getting a clearer picture of why I struggled through this book.
We had a struggle.
Yeah. It wasn't a struggle in that I didn't like it. It was just like, oh,
It was
this is
heavy.
hitting.
It
Yeah.
was hitting.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit
Fantasy's
too much
only
resonating
fun
between
when it's not real life.
Yeah.
real life and
Which is why I
narrative.
which is why I don't like the Kingslayer Chronicles with Kavoth.
yeah.
Philip, what's his name?
Philip Rothfuss.
Patrick Rothfuss.
Yeah.
Patrick
Patrick
Rothfuss. I don't like that because he's poor. And he talks about fucking money at his magic school. And I'm like, I don't want to hear about your financial troubles. I want to know who these fucking bad guys are. Shut the fuck up. Like, this is not fun or cozy for me. I don't like it.
No.
I read it. It was a good story. They're never going to finish it. It's fine. But anyways, I don't like it. I'm trying to escape.
Yeah. I don't need my real life in my fantasy.
Books are political. I just don't want them to match our current political crises.
Not right now. This is what I came to this book for.
So the
This was the
dog
most
and the
political of
dragon,
all
was
of
that
them.
the one where Kaladin was like, okay, Wit, can you
Tell me.
Can you tell me a story? And Wit's like,
Yes.
oh my God, nobody ever asks me for a
like, "You just-
story.
Thank
Oh
you
my
so
God, I'm
much for
excited."
asking.
He's like, I got just the right one.
And then
he
it ends.
gives him the
Design.
false ending, and he's
Yeah.
like, wait, what the fuck does that mean?
He's like, that's not where it ends. And he's like, there's an art to ending a story.
and Wit's
I
like,
think I
you
know how
asked
to
me
end a
for
story."
a story. I gave you a story. That doesn't mean anything. There's nothing behind the story. I'm just glad you asked me for a story.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, really, Wit. What does it even mean? It means you will be warm again.
Yeah.
So good.
That was such a good story.
It
too.
was
And then I
so
like
good.
when
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, there was a dog. And he's like, what's a dog? And he's like, of course you don't know what a dog
Oh,
is.
yeah,
It's like,
okay,
of course
I
you don't know what a
forgot.
dog is. You live on a planet that's cold and covered in slime. Like, I fucking hate this planet. Like,
Yeah.
everything's a crab.
Everything's a crap.
Everything is a crab.
Like, even he misses dogs.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then there's a dragon, but there's only one dragon on Olive Rochar, and she's quite secretive. So I'll explain what it looks
Cultivation's a dragon.
like. Oh,
Yeah,
Thank you.
cultivation. Oh, oops.
You just had to.
I didn't mean to.
You just had to throw something in there.
It's not a twisty twist. It's just a moment. It's a momentary thing that you learn.
Yeah, it doesn't really
I
like
think it's
spoil
because I'm
anything.
tired,
It's just
and it just like came
No,
out. of
it's
my
because we
mouth.
were almost done and you hadn't ruined anything for me yet, so you just had to do
I'm
something.
so sorry. It was just a compulsion. I know the dragon. Oh, I know the dragon.
well, is that the one dragon? I don't know if cultivation is the dragon that they're referring to.
well, it's fine.
She might not be, but she is a dragon.
She was.
She was a dragon.
Yeah, so it's probably who they're referring to. If there's only one on Olive Rochar. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry. It's not really a plot point.
Right.
It's just this like, oh.
It's
that's
backstory.
fun.
yeah, it's just
Like, I'm not
backstory.
going to cry myself to sleep over it.
No, and it won't, you probably wouldn't even notice it, honestly.
I'll probably forget about
and then
this
you'll be
entire
like, oh, wow,
conversation, honestly.
Cultivation was a dragon.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about it,
Yeah,
like,
I'll be
in
like,
a few weeks.
"Did
I'm
you
like,
know?"
did you know?
Be like, yeah,
Wit,
crazy.
Wit gets to use his light weaving.
Yep.
And he's like, this feels like
His
cheating.
new light
He's
weaving.
like, this feels
Oh,
like
he has
cheating.
his
like-
friend. Isn't this when you learn
Right,
he has
because
his
Yeah.
friend?
His friend.
it was at the end of Oathbringer.
Who is
he-
sassy.
Because
Yeah.
Sassy
Yes,
as hell.
it's
isn't he
Sassy's
collecting investiture methods of investing.
I mean, that's how he stores his memories, is in like breaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has many breaths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been
That would
he's been
make sense.
collecting investiture.
Yeah. Like
This
different
whole
forms
time.
of investiture.
Yeah. Yeah. His friend, I forget what her name is, but she's
Design,
Design,
maybe?
maybe?
Yeah.
She's super sassy.
She's so sarcastic.
Yeah.
And I
That's
love
what
it.
he deserves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a Yasna.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
exactly what he
Yes.
needed. It's good.
Yeah.
Perfect
Yeah.
match.
A sassy, smart-ass woman that ain't going to put up with his 10,000-year-old bullshit.
And,
Yeah.
and only does what he asks like a third of the time.
And
Yeah.
I loved Pattern. I loved Pattern in Shadesmar. Like
love
when
Pattern.
Shallan and Adolin are having a moment, and he walks over and puts his arm around both of them, and he's like, "Are we talking?"
That's such a like memeable moment.
He's like, "Ooh, hi guys." Like, I also like secrets. They're like, "Pattern, can you not for a minute?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, got it." And he like backs off. It's such a good moment. He's so funny,
I love him.
and nobody likes cryptics, and he
I
does
know.
not care. He's like, "Yes, that's fine. We're very strange. It's
It's
okay."
fine. I get it.
Yeah,
It's good that you don't like us.
they're like, "Ew, a cryptic. You know they like lies," and he's like, "Lies." He's like, "They are delicious."
Delicious lies. Yeah.
I know. And then Adolin has all his swords. I'm just thinking of highlights now. When he pulls
Yeah.
his sword box out and they're like, everybody has shard blades and they can all make them whatever shape they want. And he's like, but I don't have one and my shard blade's only one shape. And it's not very practical because it's huge.
We can never forget that Adolin can hold his fucking own in a fight either.
Yes.
Like,
Right.
he's
Don't
not only
forget.
like an amazing
He's not just a
man,
pretty face.
No.
He is also an incredible swordsman.
I need to know more about his horse because they take his horse over to Shadesmar and it has
Oh
a
yeah,
double
the
image.
Rashadium.
Yeah.
the fancy horses.
There are
Which is
several
Dalinar's
instances.
horse, but
Right.
Yeah, there are several instances of animals on Roshar that bond with Spren. Like Churi Churi has
Yeah.
to bond to Spren
Ooh.
to be able to keep flying. That was in Dawn Shard. And then they talk about the chasm fiends. It's like stipulated a couple times, theorized that the chasm fiends do the same thing that Churi Churi did. They have to go, like, part of their life cycle, they have to go bond to Spren. Because they're so massive, they need some supernatural
They need
effect
investiture.
so
of
that their
some
weight
sort.
doesn't crush them.
Yeah.
And then the Rashadium. Something's
It
going
would
on
make
with the
it would,
Rashadium.
it would make sense that the legendary creatures of Roshar would also need to bond.
and they have
Spren.
like
Yeah.
It would-
rainbow pupils.
it
They
would-
have like
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
it that computes with the magic.
Yeah.
That like anything large and somewhat sentient would
Yeah.
need to bond to Spren.
yeah.
Yeah.
Different types of Spren.
If Spren are
And
like
honestly, I feel like more
natural
things
resource.
should be bonded to Spren. Spren.
well, Spren are like a
Sprend.
natural
Friend,
resource.
Like a friend Spren.
They're like a natural resource.
yeah,
They're like
that's what I'm saying.
naturally occurring, and some of them are not intelligent, and some of them are. And that's a debate that Sibling and Navani have because the sibling's like, "You're murdering people," and she's like, "I'm not murdering anybody."
Well, it's
The
more
others-
like
The other Spren said it was
imprisonment.
Do they
Torture.
find-
Torturing.
And then they figure out what Fabrials are because we figure out that Fabrials are like shard blades, where they're Spren that have taken that form, and that's
Yeah.
why in the other world they're like sleeping because they've like
They're manifested.
they're manifested as like
Investiture in the physical realm is always metal.
as like a soul caster or whatever. And so
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, is that what that is?" And the sibling's like, "Oh my god, you didn't know." And she's like, "No, I didn't fucking know what happened
Why did
7,000
they-
years ago."
Why did they lose all their knowledge?
Well, for a long time, they thought that the people before them were more technologically advanced. And they've
Right.
only just realized that they just knew different things to do with Spren that we don't know. They thought they knew other kinds of Fabrials. And then they had that false desolation, which we talk about in this one because it's the Ba, what's his name?
Ba Edo Mishram.
Yeah, Ba
I thought
Edo
she-
Mishram
One of the
was like,
unmade.
I think she's a she.
well, she was an
it.
unmade
Oh.
that got too big for its britches, basically, and was like, I think I can be Odium. I think I can do that. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
created a bunch of forms for the singers. And then when they captured Ba Edo Mishram or whatever, they like put them in another big ball, like they put the thrill in a ball. It ripped the forms away from the Parshendi and made them Parshmen. Like that's why
Yeah.
their dull form was so dull
Yeah.
Right,
because it destroyed
like,
their minds.
a part of their spiritual connection with Roshar is caught up in Ba'edo Mishrem's prison.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one of the hooks for the rest of the plot is like we got to find something happened when we put that unmade in a ball.
And
we
it
talk
was-
about it in Rhythm of War.
And
Yeah, I know.
And I
Yeah.
think they theorized that it's related to the Deadeyes.
Yeah, something
Because-
happened there.
Because before that, Spren had been like people had broken their oaths, and the Spren kind of just got traumatized for a little bit, or they went unconscious for a little bit, like Syl.
Yeah.
Syl, when her last radiant person died, she kind of went into a coma for a little bit, and when she woke up, it was after the Recreants.
Yeah. But they had the false desolation. That's what I'm getting at, is they had a false desolation and they lost a lot. They lost a
And
lot.
weren't like records erased? Like a lot of books were like,
Yeah. It was
yeah.
so long ago.
The knowledge was all lost, and even
The
towards the
religion's
end of the
probably
real
burned it
desolations.
too.
Yeah. And then they had that thing where the
religion tried to take over,
religion tried to take over and they ended up burning a whole bunch of-
Hierocracy,
which
Yeah.
is why the what are they called in this book?
the Ardents.
The Ardents are all slaves or
Right.
enslaved or
Yeah.
owned, or
Yeah.
nice way of saying that.
So
Symbolic slavery.
So they've
Really?
been set back quite a few times, and each time they lost more knowledge. And the only thing they found in the tower were those like journal entries.
Prism journals.
Yeah,
Those are super cool to me in the way I
they're cool,
imagine
but they're
them.
not helpful. They're like, oh, I'm gonna really miss this place.
Yeah.
Put it in the drawer.
It's like a little memo.
Yeah.
Yep.
What you got going on?
Oh, and we find out that when they kill those, no, they're not ardents, but what are they called? Why can I never remember what they're called? The people that live forever, but they're not.
Heralds?
Heralds, thank you. When they kill the heralds with the
Remember that either today. I think I thought for like 10 minutes, like, what are those fucking things called?
they're treated so like we found one and then all of a sudden they're all there and they're like, oh yeah, the heralds, can you go pull them out of the closet so we can have a conversation with them? Like
Yeah.
they're just, at first they're gods and then we find out they're real and then all of a sudden they're just ubiquitous. So they're very odd in the book, but they finally kill the one guy.
Only one's dead.
One's dead. They kill the leader.
Jezrin.
And we find out that they
Right.
think
He
they're
was
going to
the
be
king.
able to keep them in there, but
Trap
really
them in the gemstones like a spren.
but they're
Yeah.
not spren, so they just dissolve.
because their souls are made out of investiture.
Yeah. So as soon as they break the bond, they literally just dissolve.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah. And so Jezrien is dead.
So we're missing one. Just
Because
one.
that's one of the little,
What
that's
was
the
his
blurbs
job?
at the top.
Jezrien,
Who's king?
he was the king of the heralds.
Don't they all have like names or I don't know how it works. Something like
There
that.
was
I'm
a
here for the vibes.
I was just
so-
here for the vibes. That makes sense, I guess.
We only see them a couple
funny
times.
I don't give a shit about the magic unless it doesn't work. And then I'm furious.
Wait a minute.
I mean, I do
the
kind of
daggers that
understand
they
it.
use
Yeah.
with the gemstones at the end
Yeah.
are made out of aluminum.
Yeah. They have like an
Aluminum is
aluminum.
significant in the
Aluminium.
cosmos.
Yeah.
Aluminium.
Aluminum.
Isn't it the 10th metal?
I will admit at the very beginning when the steampunk ship shows up and they're all
Yeah.
there, I was like, oh no, is this going to be the whole book? I was like, is this going to be the whole book?
It's
is
all,
it going
like,
to be Kaladin fighting?
All
and
of a
like,
sudden, there's guns.
and I was
we
like,
got
I
pistols.
can't. I can't. And then when they got back and they were like,
Spring bullets.
Kaladin, we don't want you on the field anymore. I was like, thank you, Jesus. I was like, thank you. That means we're not going to do battles. I hate books that are just battles.
Yeah.
And then we go to this battle and then we go to that battle.
This
I
was
don't
like
think Dungeon
no
Crawler
battles.
Carl is for you.
Well, there's battles and then there's like, you know what I mean.
Oh, I
there's,
know.
There's fun and then there's
like games.
I am honor and I'm going to describe how I'm spear fighting for the next
I
25
like,
pages.
I like a well-written battle.
Yeah, and they got
Yeah.
to be quick. Like, yeah.
I
Like
don't.
the
I don't
end
mind a long one as long of it's good.
The end of
Sandra
Oathbringer
does-
was great.
like
Sandra
Joe
does good
Abercrombie does a
battles.
good battle.
He
yeah,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
The end of Oathbringer was good. That's a perfect battle
That
because a lot
lasted
of different
a
stuff
long
was
time.
happening,
A long time.
and we moved around POVs and we did a lot of good
And
stuff.
it was
And it was
proportionately
critical.
epic.
Oh
It was
man.
critical.
Yeah.
We were waiting for
Would
that
you
battle.
call it a Sanderlanche?
She called it that.
Sanderlanche.
That's a thing. People call it that.
This was less Sanderlanchy. It did not feel.
It was slow as fuck, and then Kaladin got his nanotech.
Yeah.
And Taravangian became fucking Odium.
This is probably.
And Navani
And
became
Navani.
Bondsmith.
Yeah.
If I was doing a
It was
reread,
like boom, boom, boom.
this would probably be the book I was like, oh, great. Now I got to do this one.
I couldn't attempt.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
it
so
was-
happy
Just
that
because
I
I'm
read it.
super
Yeah.
hyper fixated right now, so I just couldn't have.
That's
But I
fine.
am going to read Wind and Truth again because I want to read Wind and Truth again.
I
But
would-
Wind and Truth, a lot of shit happens.
Yeah. Well, it's 10 days. You got to pack a lot. It'll be like, and then 18 weeks later, Adolin arrived at lasting integrity.
Yeah.
And I was like, meanwhile, all this shit's happening in the real world, and they're like riding on a ship, eating bonbons, hanging out, getting yelled at by. And they meet their old buddy.
Ironing their clothes.
They meet their buddy from the first one, whatever his name.
Babe, did you
Nolan.
see my starch? Babe, did I pack that starch?
No, he didn't have to rewear anything the whole time. He brought enough clothes. It's
Hell
fine.
no.
Oh, he's so
He changes clothes and he just throws the dirty ones into the
Yeah.
the orb
the
ocean.
spheres and the
The
tiny
Orbeez.
beads.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's a sea of
Except for
Orbeez.
not jelly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like the jelly.
I know.
I don't want them to make
I
you
was
feel
going
wet.
for the
It must
slippery.
be so loud. It must be so loud. The like clacking sound when they're sailing
it's
through them.
probably like they're so little. It's like a soft soothing,
like
a
sand,
rain stick,
like sand
like a
flowing.
rain- yeah.
Ooh, like a rain
like
stick.
a rain stick. Yeah.
I can't get over the line from Shalon in the last book where she's like, each one of these is a soul of something in the real world. Don't think about it too deeply. And then, don't think about it.
Basically,
Evelyn cannot
Brandon's
figure out
instructions to the reader.
Yeah.
Please do not give this too much merit. Like, just like move past it.
Please don't write any. Don't at me. These
No,
are
don't
souls
at
of
me.
things in the real
It's a
world.
convenient abstraction.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into
That's
it.
it.
Yeah, leave it be.
You know, something that he does really well, and it'll be really interesting to see how authors manage this element of thing that we've only seen over the last 4 or 5 years. Well, not four. I take that back. There's been communities that discuss books for a really long time, but I think Book Talk and Bookstagram or whatever the fuck they call them, there's so much discourse about so many like minute things.
Yeah.
And Brandon does a great job of fitting into these things without having them impact what he's doing.
Have you watched any of
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
new YouTube
Yes.
lectures?
Yes.
He uses so many examples of, I was working on this arc in one of the Cosmere books.
I'm going to have
and-
to watch some of
and
that.
like, here's what I did. And my like focus groups said, we're not engaged. And so then he'll iterate on it. He'll change a few things, have people read it.
But he has trusted-
people are responding better to this version.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go into that and I'll iterate on that.
Yeah.
And he did that with the ending of Wind and Truth. He wrote 3 different endings, and what he ended up using was like an amalgamation of all 3. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, we got to have this,
Yeah,
But
almost
he's
as
not.
if you,
He's
you
not.
can trust him as a writer to be like,
it's almost like that.
He teaches other people how to
I
write.
can I'm going to
Right.
prioritize this story. I'm going
almost
to make
like
sure
I
it's good.
Almost tagged Rebecca Yara.
You've sworn an oath.
I almost tagged her. Like
You're going to kill your
at
spread.
Rebecca Yaros
Please watch these.
in a writing class he was giving.
Yeah.
This is why you get community
was-
guideline
It was on TikTok.
Hey,
and it was
do
like
you want to learn how to write, Rebecca?
yeah,
This
and-
guy
and he
talks
was like,
about it some.
Yes, and I was like, at Rebecca Yara. Whisper. Just read it.
Make a throwaway account.
Because
Drop
they
her
were,
name on
Make a
they
there.
were
throwaway
talking about world building, and he was talking about how people will not buy it if your magic doesn't make sense.
Right.
They
Correct.
will not be able to look past it.
I
They
can't
will
turn
not-
it off. You
they
can't-
will
no.
not buy it if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I
Put in the timestamp too.
Yeah,
I did
Check
not
out
do
14
it. I was like,
minutes.
that's fucking mean. I think I'm very happy for her, and I'm very sad that
For me.
Yeah.
I'm sad for me.
Well, you can turn off in these books and then just enjoy the vibes of what's happening because you trust that he's got this. I don't need to keep track of it.
And
'cause-
to be honest,
Right.
these are anybody that's going to listen to this podcast realizes it. Like, we're not the in-depth, detail for detail readers.
No, we're the vibes.
Not even
Cast.
vibes. No, I wouldn't even say that. Like, it's not just vibes. We are very much into character
We're into
and
the
like
narrative.
personal emotional development.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the spiciness of things.
Yeah.
And like the physical intimacy that appears
We've not
on the
had any
page.
spice in so long. I
Character
forgot what it
chemistry.
is.
No, you didn't. You're fine. Like I said, Hannah has a personal life. None of us do. I'm
do.
reading like 4 books a week sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe you
4
should
books to
stop
mine.
trying to further relationships in your life and just read all day.
You're right. I'm going to make a change starting
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
No, I'm just joking. She is
Isolate yourself.
the
Push
lead-
I don't think
everyone
we
away.
should see each other
More
anymore.
audiobooks.
I've decided to dedicate more of my time to reading spicy fantasy novels.
You're cutting into my fictosexual life.
Yeah.
No, I think that you're doing a great job of balancing as a Libra.
Thank you so much. It means
I probably
so much
should,
to me.
I probably should be doing a little bit more outside living and less internal living.
Meh.
But I have 2 dogs now, and they require a lot of me.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah,
they,
they
do.
do.
Farah is a lunatic. She is insane. This is how she talks. Mom, watch me beat my brother up. Mom, watch me eat his ear. Mom, is this a sleepy time or is it time for me to eat Henry's ear? And I'll wake up and she'll be like, is it time to play, Mom? And I'll be like, shut the fuck up, you tiny, beautiful puppy.
Sounds like someone in my life.
She is so cute and sweet, and they have such a good time together. But I'm going to have to work really, really hard at being the dog mom that they need, which is a lot more walks, a little bit more discipline. Like they need some, because it was impossible for Hannah to walk in the door yesterday.
It took all the physicality I possess, which is not much, but
They're not
just to walk to the bathroom.
They're
And I had
not-
to lock myself in the bathroom. Like that was the only safe space.
because Farrah's only 15 pounds, but Henry is like 50 pounds. He's literally like a dwarf, like
Yeah.
a Gimli.
Yeah.
He's so strong. He's so masculine.
He's so thick.
So but little. And they need a lot. And all of a sudden I'm a 2-dog mom. And it's
Yeah.
a different world.
It is.
I was like, can I pee? And then it was just
I was like, I
chaos
knew you were
until
gonna-
I got into the bathroom. And I was like,
Yeah. And it's not that bad when it's me. So I need people to I need people to come over
Yeah.
and practice.
Well, I think this is probably a good place to leave it.
Yeah.
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 So are we
Yeah.
gonna do Wind and Truth next, or are we gonna do Spice?
I think we could take a break.
I would love a break. I would love a chunky book break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 2 Kimberly Lemming books that we have not read yet.
Let's
we
do
had the That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human.
I read it.
We haven't done it for the podcast.
Okay.
And we have That Time I got trapped in a rom-com. That time I got abducted by aliens and got trapped in a rom-com.
Is there something spicy you want to read?
Oh, please don't ask me that.
Okay.
She has a life.
I'm just
Yeah.
my suggestion is Kimberly Lemming because we enjoyed her
My
last
journal. We could read that.
I see bragging. I
Drama.
know bragging when I see it. I'm just kidding.
two. But I mean, snack
I
pockets. We
don't
could
know.
go back to snack pockets.
I did love that snack pocket.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Patsies. Pasties.
in that time
Pasties.
in that time I got drunk and saved a human, it's dragon slut magic. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've not read anything or even explored anything except Brandon Sanderson in like months. So
I mean, it's probably been 6 months.
It's a lot.
other than Onyx.
Storm.
was upsetting.
Yeah.
We've
A
broken our
slam
vow.
dunk,
Oh, well.
fun.
Did we take a blood oath?
No.
No,
No,
we
we
didn't
could-
do a blood oath.
We can be like Raboniel. Maybe next time don't be so trusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
She's my favorite.
You promised. Well, maybe next time. Maybe in your next life, don't be so trusting.
I promised. I lied.
Yeah. And then Navani echoes that back to her later. She's like, you promised. She's like, maybe you should have been less trusting. And Raboniel's like, I know.
I see what you do there, and I respect
High
it.
five,
And I'm
girl.
gonna die. I'm gonna die now.
Yeah. She's like, cool, charge this gem up and kill me for realsies, girl. You got this.
Yeah.
She's
got
like,
this,
You
you
got
got this,
this.
girl. You are so good
Like
at
I
this.
said, so
God,
healthy.
she
Healthy
loved
girl.
it.
That's
I am so proud
girls,
of you.
Girls being girls.
She's like, oh, I'm so proud of you.
You stabbed that knife
saved
in me,
that.
girl.
Oh my God, you saved that for the perfect moment. That's exactly when I would have delivered it. Oh my God.
respect. So much respect.
All right, until next time, friends.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
See ya.